in particular. Okay. Right. Okay. We would like to welcome all of you to this particularly the webinar series and quality management science and investment for the sustainable development in Mala Declaration member countries. So a very warm welcome from all of us here on behalf of the South Asia Cooperative Environment Program, or SACEP. I'm Vanessa Surpipit from the Regional Resource Center for Asia and the Pacific at the Asian Institute of Technology. So I'm very, very happy today to have a chance to welcome you all for the 5th webinar that we have had under this very important topic for our Mali Declaration countries, member countries. So today, maybe I just give you just a brief overview of the Mali Declaration on control and prevention of air pollution and its likely transboundary effects for South Asia, or in the short term as Mali Declaration, that was adopted since the 7th Governing Council of SACEP at Male in Maldives during April 1998. It has been almost 30 years for this Mali Declaration, started off from the dialogue and supported very closely by the UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, and Stockholm Environment Institute. So the Mali Declaration is actually the intergovernmental network involved all the countries in South Asia, including Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, the Republic of Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. And in the beginning, there was also Iran. At the moment, in South Asia, by the leadership of SACEP, they have already discussed quite a lot regarding the revival of the Declaration with the latest IG meeting. So I'm very happy that today is a very good time that we have come back to talking more and more about what to do in order to support the improvement of air quality across the region in South Asia. And with this we will have this specific focus of the 5th webinar under the topic of the ambient air monitoring and the data quality, whether it's the issues in South Asia, with a specific objective to encourage us to discuss about the existing ambient air quality monitoring network in the region. So today we have the distinguished speakers, in particular that we have the focus not only any specific country, but starting from the discussion by the leadership of ICIMOD, or the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development. Mr. Ashish Tiwari is here with us, and he will give a presentation about the acid-based clean air actions in Indo-Gangetic Plains and Himalayan foothills, or in the short term is IGPHF. That he will be the first speaker. And the second speaker is the Professor Muhammad Fahim Kokar from the Institute of Environmental Science and Engineering, the National University of Science and Technology, or NUST, in Islamabad. And the third speaker will be Professor Professor Biswa Karabi Farhana from the Department of Environmental Science and Management in North-South University, Bangladesh, in Dhaka, out there. And last but not least, we have Mr. Jatinder Singh Kamyotra from, he is actually the facilitator of the Mala Declaration, and he has been a very long supporting all the activities regarding the air quality, actually environmental quality, starting from his experience in India as the member secretary or the director of the Center Pollution Control Board. And I hope that we have had everyone out here with us. Can we highlight the speaker, Matthew? Our IT team, please. Do we have? Yeah, I hope all the speakers can turn on your camera, please. Yes. We still looking for Mr. Professor Fahim Koka. All right. Okay, never mind. I think then, because the topic for today is pretty much, uh, you know, huge topic, like a huge topic that we have a lot of information, and I'm very happy that we have a number of participants registered today. But the web in air today is also being recorded. And so that if anyone miss this hour, they can also reviewing the whole webinar later on. We will broadcast live and also have the recording available on YouTube. Mirtu, can you highlight me as well? And so that we can see now 4 people, no? And then we have, okay, never mind. We will at the moment, because I know that we have only 2 hours together. So the format is that we will have the presentation, firstly from Mr. Ashish Tiwari, and then we will have the other 2 presentations before the Q&A session. And also we will allow enough time for the question and answer. So that we can have more also of the discussion. So at this point, let me firstly, let me introduce, without wasting much time, I would like to firstly introduce the first speaker, Mr. Ashish Tiwari, who is the air lead of ISIMOD in the action area, air climate and environmental risk. So Mr. Ashish Tiwari is actually heading the strategic activities for the stimulating actions for the clean air across the Hindu Kush, across the IGPHF, as we call now. So he leads a number of regional efforts on the air quality management and held in the past. Actually, Isimot, he has working since last year only, but now a lot of activities have been happening. So without wasting much time, just to say that he has also held several senior leadership positions within the government of Uttar Pradesh in India. And he has been serving, working not only with the local communities and up to civil society and international development partners, and including the World Bank, UNEP, GIZ, and JICA. So Mr. Ashish Tiwari is like a pioneer of asset-based approach to air quality management. So let me pass on the microphone to Mr. Ashish Tiwari, so that he can explain more in detail of the idea on asset-based management for air quality and how it works at the moment. So Ashish, please.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you so much, RRCAP and SASIP, for organizing this very important dialogue on regional cooperation on clean air. And we have also been doing the same thing. So it's pleasure for me to join with you all in this discussion. So I basically come from, as Vanessa mentioned, Indo-Gangetic Plains, Hindu Kush Himalayan region. ECMOD, we all know that it's works across 8 countries in Hindu Kush Himalayan region. And the air problem is basically an air shed, which is we call Indo-Gangetic Plains and Himalayan foothills. So we work in this airshed, and our approach is the airshed based approach. Can you put the presentation full screen? Yeah. So a bit of a brief about the region which I would like to give you. Next. Yeah. So this is the region where you can see it's like air quality is almost same whether it is Delhi, Dhaka, Lahore, or Kathmandu. So, and the airshed impact is so that even if the crop residue is burned in maybe some parts of India, Punjab or Pakistan, Punjab, its impact would be seen down to the Bangladesh. So that is the kind of a airshed. And we all know that air is a very complex, very complex problem where like meteorology plays its role and the multiplicity of pollution sources and atmospheric chemistry, which converts the emissions into secondary pollutants, which travels a very long distance. So very complex. It's a global hotspot where annual average PM 2.5 is about 8 to 20 times of WHO's norms, which is 5 microgram per meter cube, and very heavily populated this area, very fertile. It's a developing region, lot of development activities are there. So of course, around 2 billion people are affected by this bad air or the worse air quality which the region has. And the, of course, the health impacts are there, 3 to 5 years of life expectancy lost on average across the region. There are economic losses, 8 to 10% regional GDP per year. And one more impact which I have like left mentioning here is impact on cryosphere, because there is a Himalayan region where the glaciers are there and the black carbon emitted from the common sources actually gets deposited on glaciers, results in faster melting of glaciers, creating impacts of water security and disasters in the downstream countries. Next, please. So there is a Gordian knot. How do you solve this problem? This region has a representation of all kinds of problems. Like it has got development activities, it has got a small, micro, and medium level industries where air pollution control is very difficult. Lot of, you can say, heavy emitting, heavy duty vehicles, cooking sector, which is the largest contributor, and economy is growing. Like the region is growing where the governments have competing commitments for development activities, maybe education, health, and infrastructure rather than clean air. So all kinds of, you can say, challenges are there, but how there is a Gordian knot. How do you want to solve this problem? So this needs not a planning, but it needs a strategy. What is a strategy and what is a plan that we really have to understand? A strategy is like bringing together, integrating so many things towards delivering a particular results. It is synergizing, integrating, harmonizing, and also thinking beyond the factors which are beyond our control, where the control is on the other side. There we really need a kind of a strategy. Then if we downscale that strategy, then comes the planning. So what strategy would work here? There are global experiences. There are successful examples across the country. So first of all, the countries which have performed on clean air, they have long-term focused strategies. We need to understand that air pollution cannot be solved at the top of the head. We really have to think in a very long-term perspective. We have to have a focused long-term strategy, then robust national planning. Even if we talk of regional cooperation, then the national planning, ultimately, the things which are to be harmonized and implemented actually has to be implemented at the level of the countries, nations. So that is why we need national planning. Then evidence-based policies and implementation. We have to not only formulate evidence-based policies, but we really have to track the implementation of policies through evidences, how the policies are implemented, and of course, regional cooperation because there is an airshed effect. Next, please. So here is an example how countries have done. This slide will reinforce the argument that we should have a focused long-term strategy. See what Greater Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei region, BTH we call in China, they have reduced their PM 2.5 level to 30 microgram per meter cube in about focused approach in about 12 years. Similarly, the Mexico City, where PM10 was somewhere around 180 microgram per meter cube, they have reduced close to 50 microgram per meter cube in about 25 years. There is an example of San Diego. There also 22 years. I'm not naming the city or the country but the overall picture is that clean air action planning is a long-term process, focused with most successful cities achieving substantial pollution reduction through sustained efforts over 5 to 25 years, depending upon complexity of the problem. Next, please. Then coming to if we have a strategy, the three-pronged strategy, first, the long-term strategy, second, robust national planning, third is the regional cooperation. Then then we downscale our thinking to the national clean air action planning, why it is needed. First of all, we have to integrate clean air action with short-lived climate pollutants. Like because sources are common, the mitigation policies are common, and the ways of mitigation are common. So there has to be an integrated strategy. Second, to manage sources and impacts extend beyond administrative boundaries of cities and provinces. To establish a common vision, unless the countries together, like say, for example, in IGPHF country, if we have a common vision, common target, common priorities, then only this Gordian knot can be solved. Then we have to align policies. This all comes through a national level action planning. Within the country also, like India has 25 provinces, and in IGP there are 8 provinces. So unless these provinces align their policies, regulations, and investments across sectors, then only some results, positive results will come. Then to prioritize coordinated, cost-effective interventions, that is very important. Here comes the role of decision support system, evidence-based planning and implementation. Then accountability and the harmonization of our efforts. Next, please. So these are the next, please. I'll skip this slide. So these are the what should be a national action plan look like. So we have to have national level emission inventory. I would ask you a question whether we have national level emission inventory in IGPHF region or not. So till last year, there was no national level bottom-up emission inventory. EC mod is developing that for Nepal and Bhutan. Recently, Government of India is developing for NCR region, the integrated emission inventory. So we need to have national level emission inventory, which are bottom up, not top down. Then a source apportionment. Source apportionment also has, I'm talking about science of air quality management, what kind of science should be in place. Then source apportionment, there are 2 types of, one is the conventional method, then the other is the real-time source apportionment. That is also need of the hour because we want to adopt a decision support system, forecasting and projections based, then the real-time source apportionment, like what China has done, we need here. And the countries are coming together to develop these systems also. Then policy gap analysis, like policy is a continuous policy, evolution is continuous process. The policies should respond to emerging challenges. So that policy has to be reviewed from time to time. And air quality management is a very cross-cutting, very cross-cutting, multi-sectoral challenge. That is why so many policies needs to be reviewed and revised to respond to emerging problems. Then we have to have sector-specific action planning, and of course, then establish monitoring and evaluation framework, which can monitor at three levels. First, the implementation agency level. Second is the provincial level or the sector level. Thinking in this way, we can think differently. If the small country is there, then we can have monitoring indicators at the sector level, but the country is large, then we can have at provincial level. Then the third level is the national level indicators. Like I should not mention here the success which sustainable development goals monitoring indicators have done a wonderful work. So that inspiration is drawn from there. Next, please. So now the region, how we should solve this problem. I am just not going into deep detail about the sectoral actions, but I would just like to cite one or two challenging problems. What is evidence-based planning? What do we do with the data sets? Like when we like run a gains model in IGP HF region, we found that within the transport sector, it is the heavy duty trucks which are the largest contributors. So then I would ask you a question. If I have this evidence, this knowledge with me, then whether any country is having any focused policy on heavy duty vehicles or not. Unfortunately, China had a very good policy, but IGPHF reason recently India has come out with a policy because India wanted to respond to this very, very challenging and very largest contributor within the transport sector, and the other countries are also following. So here with this slide, I just want to say that we need to have an evidence, and then evidence should translate into policies that can solve the problem. And we should work upon 80-20 principle. The largest emitters should be taken care of first, and the low hanging fruits to be harvested first. And because like heavy duty trucks, if you just retrofit them, if you just fit in them the emission control devices, which are very, very cost effective, your tailpipe emissions, particularly PM 2.5, will come down to 60-70%. So the science has to respond to the solutions, the challenges. The science has to respond to the society. Now, here I want to bring a societal angle also. Air pollution is not only an environmental problem, it's a problem of the society. So if the government wants to reduce the pollution from heavy duty trucks, the ideal situation will be just off-road all of them. But can this society tolerate this when you off-road all the trucks? Like if Kathmandu Valley, if you off-road all super emitting trucks, then how the freight transport will be there? The whole society will be affected. So the science should also respond to not only environmental problems, but also to the societal problems. Next, please. Then the next challenging sector is cooking. I have just picked up few sectors which are of regional importance. Cooking and residential heating is the largest contributor to PM 2.5 in IGPHF region. So what kind of policies we should have? Of course, the solution is LPG or electric cooking, but the global experience is that LPG transition takes about, when the economies start developing, it takes a longer time. For India, the well-researched studies show that 2050 is the year when 100% LPG transition will be there. So can we wait till 2050 to get this largest contributor addressed? So we need to try on intermediate solutions. What kind of intermediate solutions will work? Whether it is biogas, gobar gas based cooking, whether it is ethanol cooking, whether it is electric cooking, or fuel efficient stuffs, etc. So these are the problems. Nepal has done a very great work in Tarai region, where the biogas based residential individual small plants, the cooking adoption is really very, very good. Recently, we have done a study where adoption is around, after phasing out of the project, around 50 to 60%, which is very good. So we have to learn from each other and really address these problems, which are largest contributors to the air pollution in the region. Next, please. Third sector is the industrial boilers, whether it is Bangladesh, whether it is India, whether it is Nepal, the small, medium, and micro level industries, the air quality management or air pollution control is not an economically viable proposition for them. If they run all air pollution control systems, their cost increases, their product will become incompetitive in the market. So these are the challenges. So what kind of solutions we should have? Recently, the state of Uttar Pradesh has come out with a feasibility study for steam as a service, like common steam boiler, which can also consume biomass as a feedstock. Even the STP fecal sludge can be a feedstock for the common steam boiler, and that steam boiler will supply steam to the industry at a lower cost. So these are the solutions which can really work, and enforcement we cannot stop the industries, even if they are polluting. Our countries, our economies are based upon the our GDP is based upon such activities. We have to provide solutions. We cannot enforce. When non-compliance is 80%, enforcement will not work. When non-compliance is 20%, of course, enforcement is work. So we really have to work upon the solutions which can respond to environmental and societal problems. Next. Then agriculture. So there is an invisible source of air pollution in agriculture. Recently, EC-Mod has done a study on what is the contribution of nitrogenous fertilizer-based, ammonia-based emissions in the air quality. So it is very, very significant. It is equivalent to crop residue burning contribution. But the whole world is behind the crop residue burning, but little intervention is done on fertilizer use efficiency. In this region, the productivity is decreasing and fertilizer use is increasing. So we have to decouple by adopting fertilizer use efficiency practices. Of course, it relates to science, it relates to behavioral change in the farmers, but it's a very, very important sector. So here also, I would stress upon the evidence-based planning. Next, please. Similarly, the waste. What do we do with the waste? What do we do with the RDF? What do we do? So there is a linkage of end of life RDF disposal with the cement industries. We really have to find out the solution. Can EPR can EPR regime can actually complement to putting more money into the waste economy? These are some questions where we really have to work upon as far as the sectoral actions and strategies related to waste is concerned. Next, please. Then the financing the clean air is also a very, very complex problem. I mentioned that the countries have competing commitments. So the financing for clean air is always a challenge. So there is a tool called green budget tagging, which India has done and many other countries are also doing. There we actually kind of rate a particular policy or a scheme that how green it is. And year on year, the target is given to for this policy to become greener. So if it becomes more green, then the more investments for climate and clean air will come. Next, please. So there are other instruments also like climate bonds, then the public-private partnerships, then carbon financing, of course, a very unstable market, but we can harness some benefits of carbon financing also. So out of box financing solutions, we really have to deal with, like government funding can catalyze a particular, you can say, action, but ultimately businesses have to be developed around the air quality management. Then only we can take forward our clean air actions. Next. So now I'm just concluding because it's time is seeming to be over for me. So we really need a very robust decision support system. And the problem with current decision support system is that they are very, very complex. Policymakers, they fear to use them because they have to run models again and again. and they will have to go back to the scientific institutions. Here also, uh, we have found out a solution. Next, please, where we will provide a model of models where you can, it will be very, very technical at the back end, but very simple at the front end for policymakers, where by just drop down, you can choose how much reduction you want to make in a particular sector, how much cost it will incur, and how much benefit on ambient air quality you will get. So it's a very Sherpa model, which is screening for high emission reduction potential on air quality. It has been widely used by European Union. So we are customizing this model for IGPHF. So maybe by end of 2027, we will be having Sherpa IGF in place. And I'm happy to inform you that our regional member countries are highly enthusiastic with this kind of a decision support system. They have given their consent, but here I would like to stress upon we need robust national emission inventories. Then only this system will work. So the things are interlinked, and that is why we are trying to work with a robust national level emission inventories. Thanks to our partners like World Bank has supported developing emission inventory for Punjab, Pakistan, Bhutan, and Nepal. ECMOD is doing, and other countries, India, NCR region is also doing. So IGP HF emission inventory, we are trying to advocate. And if this region is covered with national emission inventories, then probably this Sherpa IGP HF will be a very, very useful decision support system wherein cost effective actions can also be understood and planned, and also the policy implementation can also be tracked. Next, please. So I'll skip few slides on DSS. It's very detailed. Then there is one more thing. We all know that I think Mr. Kamyutra, he has worked in Central Pollution Control Board. The cost of ambient air quality is very, very high. That is why our region, Indo-Gangetic Plain, Himalayan foothills region, is not having the level of serving on ambient air quality. There are so many unserved areas, like India should have around 2,000 air quality monitoring stations, but only has little more than 600. So what kind of ambient air quality monitoring we should have? Can we integrate satellite low cost reference rate monitor in a kind of hybrid kind of air quality monitoring? So ECMOD is doing a pilot on this, developing SOP for government of Nepal, which will be, when tested, will be taken across the region. Second is the super site, the real-time source apportionment. So ECMOD is also joining hands with Chinese Research Academy on Environmental Sciences to establish regions first super site in EC mode. And we are quite hopeful that by September, this super site will be established. And then for Kathmandu Valley, we'll be having a greater insights on real-time sources, contributions, and the graded response action plan, which we are also recommended for Kathmandu Valley, can also be more objectively implemented. Next, please. Next, please. This I have already covered. So now the last thing is the regional cooperation. Why do we need regional cooperation? I think it's not a buzzword, but there are successful examples. First, the CL trap, which is Convention on Long Range Transboundary Air Pollution. Their 40% reduction in PM 2.5 since 1990 has been done. Second is US-Canada Air Quality Agreement. There also 40% reduction has been achieved. And Chinese example, like the Chinese example also, that regional cooperation within 3 provinces has resulted in 60% of reduction in PM 2.5. So this gives us an insight that we need regional cooperation. Unless we cooperate regionally, we cannot reduce our shared problem and the shared challenge. Next, please. And why regional cooperation is essential? Because the source contribution goes across the region. So I will leave these data sets with the organizers. You can have a look on this. You can actually understand even just one example I would like to cite, that Kathmandu Valley receives around 25 to 30% of PM 2.5 from Tarai of Nepal. So within the country also, the inter-province cooperation is very much necessary. It's not only the inter-country regional cooperation. Next, please. So EC Mod is doing science policy finance dialogue, and we are also trying to establish a voluntary regional platform where this air quality management cooperation can be achieved. So it's a very, very long journey EC Mod is doing with our partners World Bank, and now ADB has also joined. So it started in November 22 with first SPFD in Kathmandu, then second SPFD, third SPFD. Now this year, in the month of September, we are organizing fourth SPFD, and we have already prepared together the platform document, and it has been shared with the countries for their endorsement, and we have received endorsement from a couple of countries as well. Next, please. So this is how we are trying to, in this present difficult geopolitical situation, the need for regional cooperation at policy and science level and finance level can actually run through. This is kind of the platform which we are proposing. There will be steering committee and thematic working groups, very, very voluntary, working together for harmonizing our strategies and actions. Next, please. So I leave it here. So this is the kind of regional cooperation we are trying to achieve. Next, please. So three thematic working groups on air quality monitoring, air quality solutions, and financing will be dealt with from this year, leading to actually a very, very integrated approach. If you have a scientific evidence, it has to be translated into policy. And if policies are there, you need finances to implement it. So that is the kind of approach we are trying to adopt in this region. Next, please. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. That is very comprehensive and fully explained, well explained about ranging from the analysis on the equity management that need to be done, the solutions that need to be done, and down to how we have the equity monitoring and transboundary to tackle pollution, transboundary pollution problem. So I noticed that a few questions already posted in the chat box, not Q&A, but I think these questions are relevant, and I would like to ask just for this minute, particularly for Mr. Ashish Tiwari. There's one question asking, well, regarding the how can we adopt EV and electric boiler, why many nations still face the energy insecurity. That's the first question. And also the other question from the same participant is about the national inventories, including PM in addition to greenhouse gas. Are they already included, both PM and greenhouse gas? So how the particulate matter calculated, why it is emitting from non-poisson, dispersing with airflow, washing out with precipitation. Okay, maybe if you can address your the answer at the moment.
I think this is a very good. Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you for the participant who has asked this question. It is very important to understand that there is a bouquet of technology when we talk of the clean boiler transition in industries. It's not only the electric boiler, but there are other technologies as well. As I mentioned, is steam as a service, common steam boiler, which can use biomass as a feedstock. There is a third technology which is called heat pumps, like the industrial sectors where you don't need very high temperature, like pharmaceuticals and food and beverages industries. These industries can use heat pumps. So there is a bouquet of technology. We need to understand that which technology fits where. And for that, you need to have a very, very good feasibility study. So he has raised a very valid question that when energy security or the energy is coming from fossil fuel, then probably the electric boiler transition would not work here. We really have to go on renewables. But a country like Nepal and Bhutan, where renewable energy is in surplus, there the electric boiler will work. So it's depends upon the regional, you can say, conditions, national conditions, the specific area-wise conditions. Like electric cooking is very popular in Bhutan and Nepal, but the electric cooking, if we make it popular in India, then it will lead to more and more fossil fuel based emissions because electricity is largely energy mix. The fossil fuel based energy and the power is the maximum in India. Of course, India is having a lot of renewable energy installations in future.
Okay, that's great. And the other question about inventories, please. National emission inventory. That will be about whether that has been included, both the particulate matters and greenhouse gas. As you, I think you pointed out
Okay.
how important it
So
is.
national inventories include PM in addition to greenhouse gas. How PM calculated when emitting from not point sources, dispersing with airflow and washing out within with precipitation. Okay, so there is a whole lot of protocol and processes for emission inventories, and the national emission inventories for greenhouse gas emission is actually not bottom up. It is basically top down. So what kind of emission inventory we are talking is based upon surveys. The emission inventories use national level data and then also does the ground level surveys. And there is a model also which works upon the emission inventories to validate that with air quality concentrations. So there is a whole lot of science behind it. The emission inventory we need for air quality management is not top down but bottom up, which is based upon surveys. The resolution is at least 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer, and there has to be a standard protocol on the basis of which it is developed. So it will be difficult to integrate air quality emission inventory with GHG emission inventory, but of course we can integrate short-lived climate pollutant where black carbon, methane, HFC, and ozone. This SLCP emission inventory with air quality management emission inventory because sources are common. So that can be taken care of if you do bottom up with set potential.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that's firstly the first round. Okay, or from Mr. Ashish Tiwari from ISIMOD, and I think then we move on in the interest of time to the second speaker, and that already joined us here, Professor Mohammad Fahim Kokka from Pakistan, the National University of Science and Technology. And Professor Kokka, can you please turn on your camera as well, please?
Hi, Vanessa. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the kind introduction. Do you hear me, and do you see my screen as well?
Yes, I hear and I see you there and at the screen clearly. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much. I must appreciate the effort put by RCCAP and all the other stakeholders involved in this. This is very timely initiatives and need of the time topic that need to be discussed across the region, not only just at individual efforts. So today I'm going to more precisely focus on the challenges of air quality management in Pakistan and what could be the plausible way forwards to address these challenges. So this work is done at National University of Sciences and Technology, along with other international collaborators, like from Duke University and some industrial collaborators like ES3. So I'm going to talk about the air quality management perspectives, challenges, and way forwards. Okay, quickly, if you look this very famous figure from Bauer et al., published back in 2016, and unfortunately, the situation is still not optimized, still the same. Although the air quality guidelines have been substantially revised by WHO, but still the air quality compliance across the South Asian nations is still a big question mark. And if you look at the picture, all the South Asian countries, most of the population is even living are exposed to beyond the interim target 1 or 35 micrograms per meter cube for PM 2.5 concentrations. Especially South Asian stands out for the particulate pollution and the winter smog or South Asian smog is a recurring issue throughout the IGP region. And in Pakistan and other countries as well, this has been termed as the fifth season in the country because this is so consistent and happening on the regular basis that becoming the fifth season in the scientific community or academic circles, they term this as a fifth season in the country. And if you look at the South Asian population mortality rate, which is 32%, because of particulate pollution exposure, and it's cost huge. South Asia overall, 8 billion USD per day because of this air pollution. And the other economic damages, especially during the smog episode, is going to be very extensive. And because of lack of data monitoring, data scarcity, and air quality management practices, I'm afraid that these estimates going to be manifolds higher than what are actually reported in the literature. If you look at this currently, this is the scenario recent report from IQ Air that is from 2026. And if you look at Pakistan, it ranks among the top most polluted country in the world and also in the South Asia as well. Bangladesh is the second one, and then India has moved from top three to the sixth position. And I would like to mention here, so gradually India has experienced a little bit improvement. They had the air quality levels, which were back in 2018 exceeding the hazardous level. Now they have moved to almost very unhealthy levels. So what are actually the reason behind? So there are a couple of things like they have extensively extended their monitoring network and then they have taken some measures, but still there is a long way to go there to reach these interim WHO guidelines and air quality guidelines. So if you look at the Pakistan scenario is even worse for the different cities, like from Islamabad, which is started with a very clean city, but these Faisalabad, Karachi, like the main big cities for 2024 and 2025, most of the time, especially during the winter, most of the time this is hazardous level and more than 20% death in Pakistan are attributed to the poor air pollution conditions. And most of the cities experience severe air pollution, not only just during the winter, but also throughout the season. For instance, Lahore, Faisalabad, and then Peshawar, and so on. And the same conditions are ranking were in 2024 and 2024 5 else. So the winter peaks can be partially attributed to the agriculture burning activities carried out across the region during stable winter conditions. So this is again another challenge, which is not just local, but it's across the region. It's a transboundary challenge, and that is causing huge issue in different countries. When we talk about the health toll, and if you look at this, this is for the Pakistan recent report from UN Environment Program. So most of the time, we mean 25% chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases are attributed to the PM 2.5 pollution, 20% of brain stroke, 90% LRIs, ischemic heart diseases, 18%, and other and especially, I would like to mention here type 2 diabetes and neonatal disorders are recently attributed to this. And this is quite alarming because this is this part of the world which has a poor or less resilient, I would say, the health infrastructure. And a lot of population is exposed to these air pollution level, which it goes to hazardous level. And these kind of diseases are very common in nowadays in these countries. So this is again the South Asian potential gain in life expectancy. If we could improve the air pollution, then we can have a substantial amount of life year loss that can be regained by the maximum of population, especially in the Indo-Gangetic plains where we have densely populated areas in South Asia. So I listed here the challenges. Most probably, these are the common challenges across the South Asian nation. We have similar kind of behavior, similar kind of management practice, similar kind of bureaucracy attitude, behavior, and similar kind of sources as well. So somehow they are similar across the country, but some countries might have overcome few, but there are a long way to go. So lack of proper air quality monitoring networks across the region, and that results in data scarcity and data sharing culture is very unpopular in South Asian countries. Lack of institutional capacity, then transport air pollution is a big challenge. I must appreciate Mr. Ashish Tiwari has rightly mentioned this transport air pollution. A regional cooperation lacks a lot. We have some success stories there, but in this region, it's mandatory, but still lags behind, very behind to reach some consensus. Lack of policy feedback mechanism. This is direly needed in Pakistan because all these policies are lacking scientific evidence bases, and not effective implementation mechanism. Lack of coordination between industries, the public, and the policy institutes. Then a biggest challenge is technological and financial constraints. If the policies are there, they are executed even, but not sufficient financials are available, are made available. And then a lack of awareness among all stakeholders, people, starting from individual to the organization levels. Above all, these constraints have actually generated an approach which is more reactive, particularly from the management and regulation regulator sides, rather than provocative. Every year we have winter smoke, but we react when it starts. We are not prepared well, or we're not working on resilience to avoid this occurrence or to avoid the damages caused by this. So I will go through these challenges with little details. So lack of proper air quality monitoring networks. Recently, the government of Punjab in Pakistan, they have taken some initiative with the help of World Bank. They're going to implement air quality monitoring network, a conventional one at the district level, but currently not that much is in place. Even the rest of the country has very scarce and sparse monitoring of air quality monitoring network. The biggest challenge towards which I feel in Pakistan is the financial constraint, because the technology is from the Western nations and the capital cost is quite high for a one conventional network, and operational and maintenance cost is even unaffordable in these countries as well. So that's the reason, and I guess the similar case with other countries as well in the region, they remains without any proper air quality monitoring network, and therefore the air quality issues are unaddressed. So what is actually way forward with this? So this should be, I mean, sooner or later, every country in South Asia or even in the world, they have to go for the hybrid approach because of the financial constraints. So the low cost sensors are quite in, and particularly when we talk about PM 2.5 or PM10 pollutions, low cost sensors are doing a marvelous job. So the accuracy against the reference beta ray attenuation monitoring is more than 90%, which is quite reasonable and can be implemented. And then recent developments of AI or machine learning algorithms and tools that can also support this hybrid air quality monitoring networks, and can be supplemented for effective and smart air quality managements with the help of machine learning tools and the user interface. So this paper has been already published, which is already about so what could be the credentials or structures of air quality hybrid monitoring network in South Asian country. The next list of challenges is lack of policy feedback mechanisms. I strongly believe every country and every bureaucratic model is actually designed to make policy which are for the social well-being or ecological well-being. But the thing is, the problem is because of lack of air quality monitoring network, no scientific evidence is there. There is a broken linkages. The nexus is not there among the policy making, the regulators, and the R&D institutes or academic circles. So all the policies which are made without scientific evidence remains or either overrated or underrated. So the question is having less lots of financial constraints means if the policies are overrated, that means you are wasting your resources, and if it's underrated, that's mean you are unable to address these issues. So ultimately all these things results in institutional capacity, because air quality management have been on priority at Pakistan quite a while. However, I used to say this smoke blessing in disguise, because since 2016 onward, we have consistent and recurring smoke episodes during the post-monsoon season and the winter season, and that has actually stirred these stagnant waters in the bureaucracy circles, monitoring regulatory circles, and also the public has taken deep concern about that, and that's why we have seen some initiative by the government of Punjab and also the federal government as well. So they're considering air quality management to a certain extent. So I just give you an example. Recently, we have just finished South Asian wide air quality monitoring network by using local sensors, particularly for PM pollution, and we use like 30 plus sensors in Rawalpindi, in Islamabad, and also in Lahore, few sensors, and the rest of the country has sensors. So that was very effective, and we see we can have a quick overcome. So but before, what are actually the challenges towards the use of low cost sensors? Why the regulators regulatory agencies are very skeptic to be. So the first thing with the mention is accuracy, but recent developments and such during our project we have achieved PM 2.5 accuracy more than 95% against BAM instrument. So then multitude of data set is produced, because local sensors are producing data on every instant, and that can be handling data could be a challenge, especially with the lack of technical capacity at the regulatory levels. So data handling and quick decision making should be prioritized while opting the local sensors. Uh, so we designed a couple of machine learning tools that handles, and with the few clicks the regulator can make a quick decision. I will show you examples in the coming slides. So another challenge was like lifetime of low cost sensors, because the companies, registered companies, good companies, even the Western companies, they just give you lifetime of effective lifetime of 1 year and up to 2 years maximum. But with the during this project, which was done with the collaboration of Duke University and other South Asian academic partners, that was funded by the Department of State project. So we did extended the lifetime up to even 4 years. So, but we have to go for the extensive calibration and maintenance cycles. But again, so by that can be done with the minimal calibration and maintenance cost. Acceptability. This is a challenge, I guess, across all the countries. Huge resistance from regulatory authorities. They say because of accuracy and capacity and life cycle issue. But this is the myth about the accuracy of low cost sensor. It's not valid anymore. Lack of certification certification from world-known organizations like USEP or other accreditation councils could be can help this issue as well to a certain extent. Large-scale applicability by the general audience because they're largely available and the people can have there and can post on social media. So there should be some regulation about that. So all these things can help, but opting low cost sensor is I guess it should be done sooner or later, but it will be there in near future. Just to give you an example, we co-located one of local sensor in Pakistan and we run for a couple of months. And you see here the cost comparison and the accuracy of this both sensors, which were correlated during normal conditions and also during the high pollution episodes as well. So it was located in industrial facility of cement industry, and we have co-located our local sensors. Similarly, the dashboard, a dedicated dashboard can handle multitude of data sets. So you can have a quick decision making. You can just click on the sites and you can get the results uh, according to you. And then we introduce a next generation air quality data analytics tool, which is machine learning based. It's a Naked, we call it, and it give you the multiple option with the few clicks. You can go for quality controls, quality checks, and it can give you. And by looking at these plots, actually, a quick and smart decision making can be done through. So, for instance, here you see the day of the weeks, which are and then the months, and then we have the weekly averages, running averages, and so we can take the smart action and so and so. By the way, this is the US patented in 2025 and it's available. And another example for that. And for instance, the city ranking and the which place is most polluted, which during which time of the year. So how to manage all these things that can be done, and that can be done through the hybrid network and even the low cost sensor network as well. Okay, data scarcity and sharing. As I mentioned in the beginning, data sharing is a biggest challenge here, even within the Pakistan. Horizontal and vertical coordination, it's a big challenge. People don't share data, probably they don't have trust in their data, the confidence in their data. So that need to be make a culture. Data sharing should be a culture, and this could help could be a check, an accountability check towards the regulator and the data producer as well. Transport air pollution. So this is non this biggest challenge, especially when we talk about these winter smog episodes. For instance, here, if you look at this, we try to make a case over Pakistan during city of Lahore. We run the back trajectory for 4 days back in time, and then we compare with Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So if you look at this, there is a huge disparity among the number of monitoring air quality network. For instance, if I take the case of Pakistan, and our neighboring country, India. So India has recently extended extensive monitoring network, and we have, as I mentioned before, we have seen certain improvement, but there's still a long way to go ahead for better health and air quality conditions for their public. But in contrast, Pakistan has hardly very few air quality monitoring stations. So that means the regional coordination actually required scientific base evidence, and especially uh, the Mole Declaration that is actually have been instrumental, but somehow it has was a very good document, a very good consensus among the all stakeholders, but that shouldn't work properly, mainly because of geopolitical differences and lack of air quality awareness among all the stakeholders and regional coordination. So we need to actually extend. So having extensive air quality monitoring network is mandatory for all nations. And to regulate our air quality, scientific evidence is, I mean, no way without scientific evidence. It will save our finances, it will build our capacities, and it will properly help us to establish a good regional coordination. So it's personally, I feel revitalization of Mali Declaration could be another way forward to establish. For instance, some other evidences which we recently published some paper here. You see in Pakistan. So this is the local trajectories, and this is the eastern trajectories, and this is far western trajectories which are influencing the air quality in Pakistan. And similarly in IGP, some study published by Kanal et al. Back in 2022, they're saying the Kathmandu Valley is also influenced by these IGP agriculture fires. So uh, this is uh, this is the same thing which we are doing since 2050 onwards. You see here, this is the international border. On the eastern side, we have extensive agriculture fires, and the left side we have less as compared to, and then the 2016, 17. So interestingly, we have selected a window of extensive agriculture fire, which is the first 7 days of November since 2015 on days. So whenever we have the easterly trajectories over Pakistan, so there we have extensive air pollution loads. And during inland trajectories, we have relatively less, but still it's a polluted one. Similarly, for the 2020, 2021, 2022. 2023, 2024. So even in 2025, the trend is similar. Okay, so recurring South Asian smog episodes, it could be a strength. But as because as I mentioned before, because it has uh, turned the blessing in disguise, in a sense that has rose the awareness level among the stakeholders, especially the public, and then the governments are moved that they have to answerable to the public. But at the same time, it could be a weakness because the present monitoring imbalance and the lack of regional coordination, it can actually be a substantial bone of contention among the countries we're having already potential differences, geopolitical differences. So, but at the same time, I strongly believe that every challenge have multiple opportunities vested in this. It could be opportunities like that we have to make ourselves accountable, local sources and the transport resources and the regulatory authorities to make accountable or make assessment where they do stand, and so to work on the solutions for that. So similar kind of things, I mean, every country should need, and we should go for the because it's a huge toll on our economy and the public health as well. So recently we have published with the all the South Asian scientific community. It's already available, and we not just pointing finger at just who is polluting home. So we are just saying that the scientific community has realized that it's a regional issue and the regional coordination is mandatory to address this. So that was the commentary published in Nature as well. So this is it's available and can take guidance from there as well. What are the way forward? It could be not only just a Pakistan specific, but it could be any country specific as well. Establish an air pollution advisory systems, which should encompass monitoring and regulation and management, capacity building, and environment awareness as a major pillars at the same time. So for monitoring level, so you should go for hybrid AQ monitoring approach, 90% local sensors plus 10% sites with at least reference monitoring stations. And these 10% could be the super site as well, with the source measurement studies are mandatory as well. And also these studies should be supported by the satellite-based monitoring and also machine learning algorithms for air quality predictions. And also if this deterministic modeling approach like CTMs, as mentioned by the Mr. Asish Tiwari, that Sherpa has been already agreed by the communities. So if that comes in, that is going to be a very good practice in all the countries. So facilitate in hotspot source identification and strength spatial and temporal patterns. So we need long-term assessment of our air quality patterns, hotspots identifications, and all these things. Establish a feedback loop mechanism to identify policy gaps, intervention needs. For instance, here, this is widely missing link in Pakistan. So all the policies are there. There have been some initiatives, but without proper air quality monitoring network, and the nexus is not there among the stakeholders, so that policies remains unaddressed or ineffective. Effective monitoring will lead to quick decision and smart by using these tools, Naked, which I told you. Capacity building measures should be there, technical trainings and data handling and decision making. They should be there at the regulatory levels. Awareness through citizen engagement. So all this dashboard or the monitor advisory system should have equally participation of individuals, citizen advisory notes should be issued for not just the air pollution, but other climate advisories as well can be integrated. The environmental activities and outreach campaigns should be there extensive, not just a reactivity in a reactive manner, rather it should be proactive manners. So this is like the schematic of this advisory system, how it looks. And so further details, I will skip this, keeping in view the time constraints. Some initiatives we at NUST and in Pakistan we have taken. So we have further reduced the 50% cost of indigenously developed air track low cost sensor, which has more feature than the conventional airport low cost sensor for PM monitoring. We have solar backup, we have GSM backup, and wind speed and wind speed as well. Anemometer is integrated in this. I will skip this. Then we have also rightly, I mean, I would like to mention here, as Dr. Ashish Tiwari mentioned about, so we should have multi-pronged approaches that actually not addressing the air quality mitigation, rather generating finances. For keeping in view this, some initiatives we have taken. So we have introduced the idea of CO2 bin, which is not just going for indoor air quality air purification, rather it's also doing sequestering the CO2. Rather, that's not sequestering, rather it's utilizing CO2 in a valuable byproducts which can be used for other industrial. So a lot huge potential for carbon credits and that can be used from individual to organization. So it works as an air purifier and also generates carbon credits. Similar concept is implemented for the motor vehicles as well. We call it CO2 arrestor, which also abates the particulate pollution and the gaseous pollution also, and utilize CO2 for carbon credits generation as well. Carbon sequestration tower, which we have a landmark here in Nust at my place. So in the entrance, uh, was the Nust pointed projects, and so it's direct air capture of CO2, and also it's air pollution abatement filters are also there, and the gaseous pollutant as well. Catalytic converter for motorbikes. We get the two and three vehicles are largely ignored sector of vehicles in Pakistan and even in I guess in South Asian country as well. So we introduce catalytic converter for motorbikes, tri-wheeler as well. And then I put
I think signal is that a signal problem? Um, Professor Cocker? Hello? Um, okay, I think actually our maybe our time is limited, and we can actually I don't know if Professor Cocker has
if your
technical
purpose.
Sorry.
Sorry. So
Okay, so,
we have
yeah.
developed a calibration chamber for low cost sensors. And then we are now working. We establish a reactor, which is photocatalytic reactor that converts CO2 into methanol, which is a greener fueler and saves a lot of revenue and create carbon credits. So just last slides, I would like to give you a couple of key takeaways that Pakistan has also sort of regional cooperation back in the past, but because of lack of coordination and cooperation due to geopolitical situation, there was no positive response dispersed despite the strong efforts made by the Pakistan, because Pakistan put bans on agriculture by burning, especially during the winter, brick kilns ban and so and so. But still, the air quality is getting worse and worse, and mainly because of the actions are not strong enough. They are underrated, and also the regional pollution is going to be a challenge. Keeping in view the holistic picture of deteriorating air quality condition in Pakistan and neighboring region, it is recommended that there is a strong need to share the responsibility, especially during the post-monsoon season, uh, by the neighboring neighbors, and share the knowledge and good practices during the rest of the year for a better future across South Asia. And revitalization of Mali Declaration accompanied by solid commitments from the each nation could be a recommended way forward for a greener and sustainable South Asia. Winter smoke in the IGP region is a recurring issue, and any country, any nation, not just Pakistan, cannot alone resolve this issue. So it requires a coordinated and collaborative effort. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Fahim Koka, for your very comprehensive slides, and also with many of the indications and telling a lot about the progress out there in Pakistan, including recommendations in order to, move forward. And I just because we have a few, just one more presentation. But if I don't see any particular questions direct to Professor Fahim Koka at the moment. So I hope that Professor Koka can stay with us until the Q&A session. And if I may be able to move on to
Yes, sure. I'll be there, and even if there is a disruption because I'm in a hilly area, if there is a disruption in the internet, then anybody can write me an email. I can be
Oh,
answering the questions.
yeah, there's just one question. I think I posed in the chat box about whether we can PM2, how can we control high PM2.5 in Lahore? Um, so this is a quite specific question, maybe for Pakistan.
Uh, well,
If
I
you could.
mentioned that. I mean, it depends. Which there are multiple sources that are contributing. There are agriculture fire, there are break-ins, there are motor vehicles, there are this mechanical dispersion by the road dust, and there are a lot of other development projects which are contributing. So we have to take extensive measures. So above all, actually, we all nations require a bottom-up emission inventories for even PM 2.5, not just PM 2.5, for all the gaseous pollutants and the GHGs as well. And then we need to make assign design a framework which are scientific evidence based, and we need to design role and responsibility for all the stakeholders, all the sectors, and then probably we can achieve our compliance towards WHO standards. And so just I mean as I mentioned during my campaigns, like I developed first CO2 arrestor back in 2017, and by implementing this CO2 arrestor in the vehicles, I mean there will be substantial reduction in the PM 2.5 pollution as well. So this kind of local solution can be implemented on a larger scale.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. I think in the interest of time, I need to move on, and I hope that some of the questions can be answered also in the chat box or and later on as well. Let me just move on to the next speaker. The last speaker before we wrap up later on with the closing remarks. Or we have at the moment together with us Professor Biswa Karabi Fahana, who is the professor at the Department of Environmental Science and Management at North South University in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And she has a long profile. We are posting now her biography, but I don't want to waste much time. So I hope Professor Karabi, are you there with us? Can you turn on your camera, please? Hello? Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
great. Okay. Okay. Maybe can you also share your presentation?
Yes. Yeah.
So Professor Karabi gonna talk in a similar way with a reflection of the situation in Bangladesh as a part of the IPHF, of course, in the northern part of the South Asia or Mother Declaration region. So what are they doing with the air pollution monitoring and beyond that? Okay. I pass on the microphone to you, Karabi, please. Thank you.
Okay, can you see the slides?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so thanks to the RRCAP, the organizers, to invite me. Currently, actually, I'm on vacation, and it's actually 5 o'clock, almost 5 o'clock in the morning. So, um, but it's very interesting talk, and I'm happy to say that some of my team members, I mean, my research students are also participating in this seminar with a lot of enthusiasm. But the topic of my presentation is air pollution monitoring in Bangladesh and beyond. In this, actually, I'm going to tell how the monitoring is done, and the monitoring is basically done by the government, and how it is implemented, how it is actually translated into the policies, and also how it is actually, how the monitoring data can find also some use in research. So these are the air quality monitoring, and this is the air quality monitoring network in Bangladesh. It's the map of Bangladesh you can see, and there are actually currently 31 stations for air quality monitoring, which monitors PM 2.5, PM 10, SOx, NOx, ozone, and carbon monoxide, and also some weather parameters. And the arrow shows that this is Dhaka, which is actually infamously known for its extreme level of air pollution, and we are of course not proud of it. The air quality monitoring and disclosing system runs like this. There were 31 continuous air monitoring stations, which are called camps, are in operation in divisional cities and district towns. And as I mentioned already, the 6 criteria pollutants are measured there, and these data are actually monthly reported in the Department of Environment's website. Department of Environment is part of or is actually integral part of the Ministry of Environment, for environmental pollution, forestry and climate change. Environment, forestry and climate change. MOEFCC. What they do actually, they calculate the air quality index based on the PM 2.5 mainly, and they present it in the DOE website, because the air quality index, people of Bangladesh are becoming slowly used to this index, and which is actually being used to raise their awareness mainly about the air pollution. But what's the use of being aware when the pollution is not being actually controlled? And what's the use of monitoring? Let's see that. Based on the air quality data that refers to the situation of air pollution in terms of health impacts, and this on the real-time basis. And the air quality DOE is also hopeful to develop an air quality forecasting system in near future. There are actually different kinds of air pollution sources, but those sources are quite, similar to the countries like India, India, Nepal, and Pakistan. I mean, they are not all fully same, but there are some similarities. For example, the unregulated transportation, the pollution coming from the transportation emission, and the construction, roads and soil dust, municipal waste burning, brick kilns, power stations, solid fuel burning for cooking. These are, and this data is actually from the greater Dhaka area. But picture is a bit different from other cities, other divisional cities. This particular graph is actually showing the PM 2.5 concentration in divisional cities only. It's not showing the other. I mean, it's just showing that whether the monitoring system is being effective. PM 2.5 is a major concern in Bangladesh, and it's sometimes I feel it's overemphasized. But anyway, not actually going to that point at the moment. Now, what are the key policies adopted based on the monitoring data? The legislative and administrative interventions, which are as follows. For example, air pollution control rules 2022. They have actually prepared a national air quality management plan, and with the intervention of World Bank, though, and they have updated. They are updating the air quality, air pollution related standards and specific guidelines for sectors and entities. So some, ongoing and some continual revisions are going on. And Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Climate Change prepares a comprehensive guideline within 22 directives of what to do by whom for reducing the air pollution. Also, I mean, the key policies continue. The brick manufacturing and brick kilns setup Act 2013, which was amended again in 2019 based on the monitoring data. A gazette notification was issued on mandatory use of non-fired blocks in place of fired clay bricks in all government constructions except for roads and highways. So these were actually some. They are saying that the strict enforcement is underway against unauthorized brick kilns. And also there are solid waste management rules because solid waste burning is one of the major source of air pollution in Bangladesh. So solid waste management rules 2021 has been adopted to address pollution and management of solid waste and at the same time air pollution. They have declared some airsheds, degraded airsheds. For example, they declare Savar Upazila of Bangladesh as a degraded airshed. They have to do the following activities. For example, they have to completely stop open waste burning. There will be no that total area has to be brick free or no brick fill zone. No new industries can be set up in the declared area, and a comprehensive action plan will be promulgated and implemented in this area. So this is how actually they will be declaring some more areas throughout the country as airshed. Especially they will do this for the very degraded air regions. Also, the DOE, Department of Environment, is planning to use the monitoring data and also the data from satellite monitoring stations, integrate them with the ground monitoring system. Because CAMs are all ground-based monitoring systems, and there are some satellite monitoring going on like Sentinel or Tropomi, I mean, those kind of things, and also some other places which I will mention in the later in the presentation. So they try to integrate the satellite monitoring data and with ground-based monitoring system. And they are going to, DOE is also planning to set up 4 new CAM stations, including source analyzing system. Currently, all the CAMs are just sampling and monitoring the pollutants, but it's not, they are not analyzing the sources. But those 4 CAMs will analyze the source of the air pollutants, and also they are going to install 8 roadside cams by the support of Zyka. World Bank supported activities are there also, like as I already mentioned, they have DOE and World Bank together developed National Air Quality Management Plan and National Clean Air Program, those kind of things. Bangladesh Clean Air Operation, that the new project is expected to combine investment, lending, and grants to implement key interventions in the National Air Quality Management Plan. As a part of the National Air Quality Management Plan, I'm skipping this part actually because of the time constraint. So it's actually a very ambitious plan, and there are co-benefits of climate change mitigation, green jobs, and improving the infrastructure, and also saving the cost, and also at the same time reducing the air pollution. So with this target, National Air Quality Management Plan has been taken, but it sounds pretty ambitious. Personally, I think it's very ambitious. Anyway, the key air pollution sectors have been identified in the National Air Quality Management Plan for enhancing the air quality. For example, they have to enhance the air quality management. They have to strengthen the legal and policy framework, market-based policies, reducing emissions from households, power generation industries, transport, electric mobility has to be there, municipal waste management, and agriculture and livestock, construction and road dust, energy efficiency, indoor air pollution. So they identified all the sectors of air pollution, and that's why actually as a part of the National Air Quality Management Plan, they have taken this Bangladesh Clean Air Project. There are a series of projects there. Part of the Regional Air Quality Management Plan for IGP-HF countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, and Pakistan are also there. So these are actually the interventions from National Air Quality Management Plan. It's aligned with that, and there the Bangladesh Air Clean Air project will be implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1, from 2025 to 2030. Phase 2, 2027 to 2032. And they have actually identified the issues and constraints, activities, outputs, and the short-term outcomes, medium-term goals and outcomes, and long-term outcomes. So the long-term outcome is improve air quality for health and environment and outcomes. And for these, actually, because there are actually so many sectors they have identified, so actually almost all the ministries are involved. I mean, they are supposed to be involved in this whole air quality management, and this is where actually I have all doubt that, I mean, whether it will actually be implemented properly, enforced properly, or will actually suffer from a lot of bureaucratic knots. And then what are the challenges there in the air quality monitoring and air quality management? Air quality monitoring actually suffers from different challenges. First of all, the camps are all imported, and the availability of the spare parts of the camps, uninterrupted power. In most cases, especially even in Dhaka, but outside Dhaka, it's more true that the power supply is not uninterrupted. Also, there is not enough budget. The network expansion is required in rural areas because there are many different air pollution sources from, cooking stoves and also agricultural burning, green emissions from the cattle farms. So these kind of pollution sources are almost remaining ignored. So the network expansion is really important. Dedicated skilled manpower is required. The problem is that we don't actually, Bangladesh doesn't get always dedicated skilled manpower for air quality management, and it's even, I mean, not only to maintain the monitoring sites, it's an overarching problem because at the director or these kind of positions, I mean, of the DOE, they don't, I mean, get always the skilled people. I mean, skilled and properly trained person who has actually good and very in-depth knowledge in air quality management or atmospheric science. So that's the problem, because it is under the ministry, and most of the time they get the people with certain experiences are given the responsibility, but they are not necessarily always actually suitable for air quality management or air quality monitoring, or even improving the whole system. So that's another problem. And there's also uninterrupted real-time air quality management and forecasting, and the lack of this uninterrupted air quality management and forecasting is there. And due to this kind of lacks and shortcomings, air quality management also suffers because its establishment of adequate vehicle emission centers and introduces the diesel particulate filters from particulate matter and selective catalytic reduction for NOx. It's has not been possible. In many cases, the vehicle emission centers, they actually are suffer from corruption and upgradation and renovation of older industries required. But so it's actually happening, but uh, not actually in a satisfactory pace. Transformation of the fired brick to non-fired block and availability of the raw materials for block production. These are some of the challenges. Conversion of traditional cook stoves to clean cook stoves, solid waste management and stop the open burning, interministerial and interagency engagement and coordination, institutional strengthening and strict implementation of rules and regulations. So these are the challenges in air quality management. When it comes to the localized air pollution or the regional, I mean, when the pollution is coming from the localized sources. But then another problem remains there, that is that transboundary air pollution, which the other speakers also mentioned, and I will show that part as from my research data as well. But anyway, the air quality management, we get some different organizations or international and national organizations as partners, like ISCAP, ZICA, EU, GIZ, UNDP, ISIMUR. We are thankful to them. Now I will show this part in a little bit, that beyond the monitoring, I mean, we have mentioned about, we know the shortcomings of the monitoring. We know the lot of improvements, so there are a lot of room for improvement, but still sometimes when the research facilities are also scarce in Bangladesh, the monitoring data sometimes actually save us from this kind of um, inertia. So we can at least make use of this air pollution monitoring data in research. For example, I will actually now mention three, quickly actually show some findings based on the air quality monitoring data from DOE and other sources that were used in our research. Raisa, one of my research students, did this actually study under my supervision. It was a study on impact of COVID-19 lockdown on air quality of Dhaka city. And the data you see here, the graphical representation of PM 2.5 in 2018, 2019, and 2020. For this part, we actually depended on the air quality monitoring data of DOE. DOE has three monitoring stations in Dhaka, but one of them has not been working for actually long time, and they say it has been taken to the relocated actually to somewhere outside Dhaka. So there are actually two, Darussalam and Bark, these two monitoring stations. And the first one, the top one, the AR now, these data we get from the US Embassy monitoring site. The US Embassy also have the camps, or one camps, you know that, and get the data from there. But they actually measure only PM 2.5. Yes, on the PM 2.5 and air quality index. And Darussalam and Bark, these two sites, sorry, those are maintained by Department of Environment of Bangladesh. Here they actually measure all the 6 criteria pollutants, and they also produce air quality index for awareness. And these are the further plots of the data, comparison of ambient air quality during pre-lockdown and lockdown phases. DOE. So DOE dataset have been useful, but we had to do actually go through the data had to go through rigorous cleaning. Yeah, so because there are a lot of data gaps, and some of the weeks there were no data, or well, maybe some of the weeks some specific parameters did not have any data. So these kind of problems are always there. So these are the shortcomings of using monitoring data from Bangladesh. US Embassy, the monitoring site has less of this problem. Their data is pretty continuous, but they have only PM 2.5. Yeah. So these are the data that DOE data set. Based on that, we could do this research and submitted the manuscript for publication. And satellite, this is, we make also use of the remote sensing or satellite observation data. This is actually the TROPOME data. We you did for the Dhaka city, Darussalam and embassy. To data. And then there's another study, source apportionment and respiratory deposition of trace elements in airborne PM 2.5 of Dhaka city. One of my research students, Sarin Tasnim Jawa, she is also actually present among the audience today. So she did this study, and for this one, we used data from a different monitoring site. The Bangladesh Center for Bangladesh Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, BCSIR, has a mobile van known as Mobile Ambient Air Quality with elemental monitoring station by Horaiba, Japan. So they measure different kinds of, they have actually PM 2.5, and they also have the concentration, the mass of PM 2.5, and they also this instrument is actually doing sampling of only PM 2.5 and also the elements, the trace elements, with the help of X-ray fluorescence technique. The real-time data were collected every hour, like titanium, vanadium, chromium, iron, nickel. So all those 15 elements element concentration we used from the site, and then did this source apportionment for 4 sources were identified by PMF, EPA, PMF modeling, and then soil dust with sulfur-rich petroleum oil, and these 4 sources were identified. And based on that, we also did the respiratory deposition dose and respiratory deposition, for different elements. And these, I'd like to show this.
I'm afraid we are short of time, Professor
Okay,
Karagi.
I
Maybe,
finish in 2.
yeah.
I finish in 2 minutes. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
the data I just showed was published. The study that I showed by Zarin Tasnim Zawa was published in Helion already. And then recently, we did a multi-year trend analysis of sources and concentrations of PM 2.5 in Dhaka. Atika did this, and Atika Arjuman, she is also present here among the audience. And these data we actually acquired from Berkeley Earth, and they have the historic repository of air pollution data, and they actually do the in regional interpolation of PM 2.5 data based on the US Embassy data. So we use that for this study for several years, 2007 through 2021, and to see the pollution status. And mainly we use PM 2.5 data. So these are the stuff. And with this, actually, I like to thank DOE that they are doing some this monitoring and providing the data to us for using in research. But we need actually much higher quality data. We could actually see plot all these things, northwest and northeast directions, highest mean PM 2.5 pollution sources across the season. This also shows the southern wind shows less pollution, and northwest and northeast directions have highest mean of PM 2.5 pollution across the seasons, which actually indicates the winter, the crop burning pollution from transboundary sources, especially in winter. Brick kiln pollution from the northern clusters. Meteorology, actually the meteorology doesn't allow good dispersion in winter. So these are the source identification. It clearly shows the transboundary pollution from northwestern India, and then in winter, and southern part in the monsoon. Also, the winter sources can be traced to Punjab in northwest and Myanmar in the northeast. Indo-Gangetic Plain geography with Himalaya forming corridor northwest to southeast that traps pollutants which move to flat eastwards Bangladesh. So in this context, as the previous speakers suggested, that we actually the control monitoring data should be, of course, translated and implemented into the policies for localized pollution control. And we need actually more robust monitoring stations, that we need to expand the monitoring network. At the same time, we need actually knowledge sharing in the regions, capacity building for training, increased technical capability, and policy effectiveness for air quality management. And global funding and climate mechanism is also needed. We need to do joint research and data sharing, forecast air quality, and last but not the least, we need regional cooperation to minimize transboundary air pollution in South Asia and Asia Pacific region. And I hope Malay Declaration, the revival of Malay Declaration, and can actually play a very, very, key role, important role in this regard. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Karabi, Professor Biswa Karabi Farhana, for all your comprehensive presentation on Bangladesh part, and in particular reflections. We have very limited time. I'm afraid that we have a lot of information, but of course all the presentation will be shared after review and approved by all the speakers. And there are actually now Q&A, but of course, because limited of time, I would like to ask the presenters, speakers, to also help to look into the Q&A box that has already posted by a number of questions, and particularly that I know that everyone need to limit the time. So, for example, like the particular questions from Ismail as well. So thank you, Professor Karabi, again. We will move on to the next, actually the closing part because otherwise I want Mr. Jatinder S. Kamyotra, who has actually served as the regional facilitator who for the Mala Declaration for a long time. Mr. Kamyotra, are you still with us?
Yes,
Okay, can you turn on your camera, please?
right.
Right. Yes, and I need all the speakers to turn on camera because before we close this webinar, we want to have a group picture and then we will have the closing remarks with a speech of Mr. Kamyotra, please. Can we stop sharing the screen from Professor Karabi? And can Mr. Ashish, are you still there with us? Because we
Yes,
did
we
not
are
have the
here.
group picture. Okay. And also,
Yeah, I'm just
Professor,
coming. I'm coming for the group picture.
thank you, sir. Also, Professor Koka, can we highlight him? Yeah, so that I hope all the speakers can be there and we can have just a group photo before we have the closing remark. Okay, okay. Can Mietu, can you help to tell us if it's done? Okay. Now we're taking pictures. It's done? I hope so.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then thank you so much for all the speakers. And now I would like to just move on to the closing remarks before we really close the webinar event, please. Mr. Kamyotra.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanisha. So first of all, I thank all the eminent speakers for a very comprehensive presentation and highlighting very clearly the issues, the challenges are faced by the neighboring countries. And Mr. Tiwari in his presentation highlighted the initiatives taken by ICMOD with respect to developing the emission inventory, the source of real-time source apportionment studies, integrating of the monitoring networks, and various other measures as a long-term focus challenges and strategies, interaction and various programs in that. Mr. Khokhar, Professor Khokhar in his presentation highlighted the various challenges that Pakistan is facing in the monitoring network and the initiatives taken by Pakistan in curbing or abating the pollution and the initiatives taken for controlling CO2 emissions through various measures and conversion of methanol. That is something surprising. It was heartening to see that uh, in his presentation, Professor Khokhar referred that 90% accuracy is achieved in the low-cost sensor with comparison to the BAM system. That's really something very heartening to know. And then Professor Biswas Farhana also referred to the status of air quality monitoring, the initiatives taken in Bangladesh through various legislations that are to be brought, the directives, and the collaboration with various intergovernmental agencies in strengthening the monitoring network, strengthening the policy initiatives, and all this. And one thing, she presented the data of COVID period also, which reflected that even during COVID, many times, the data was not meeting the WHO standard. Yeah. So that is something very important to note that. And so looking at this, Manish, I'll just take 2 minutes, not more than that. So everybody talked about the IGF HF region and the pollution transferring from Pakistan, moving to Bangladesh, moving to Bhutan and Kathmandu Valley. So now the question comes, first thing, the data that is generated needs to be of the same reliability and acceptability. So that is accepted by all the countries in the region, IGF and HF. Once the data quality is accepted, then only any policy formulation for the inter-regional or airshed management will be effective. Second is what Mr. Tiwari mentioned about the integration of the monitoring network. There are many challenges because every monitoring network system may be real-time, CAQMS, artificial intelligence, machine learning, even the statistical data, AOD data, or low-cost sensors, they have a different level of reliability and precision. So once we talk about comparison, we need to bring them on the same level of reliability and accessibility. And that is important because, as referred, that most of the countries, nearly all the countries in the region, don't have an adequate monitoring network. And strengthening the existing monitoring network with CAQMS is a long-term solution and very cost-intensive. So we need to bring other methods of monitoring in the monitoring network and see how best it can be used. The important point raised was the institutional capacity, which is lacking in most of the countries in the Malay region. The other important point that was raised was about the source apportionment studies, the health impact studies, the carrying capacity, and many things. But we need to come out with a uniform protocol so that the data collected, the data interpreted, and the data presented is in the same procedure so that it can be compared. Otherwise, comparison of data, even with the same studies, is not possible. And there are many such studies which show that it is not possible to compare that. One of the main point which Mr. Tiwari raised was of the boilers now. So and he rightly mentioned that situation in Nepal and Bhutan is different and they have a lot of hydropower, but that may not be the case. So can we look into some other methodology or mechanism that what is left for the small scale sector? What type of industrial sectors or industrial activity can be permitted in the small scale sector so that they need not have a challenge of the environmental pollution, because small scale sector faces the main challenge of sustainability environmental management. They have the technical capacity, does not have it, and as rightly mentioned by Ms. Biswas, the spare parts availability, the capacity, and all these things. So looking into those challenges, can we look into that? What type of activity should be restricted to the small scale sector? And in case they are permitted, then above what level they should be permitted so that it makes them environmentally sustainable. And then the most important thing, as we really thank everybody for the support to the Malay Declaration, Professor Khokar, Madam Biswas, and everybody, and Professor Tiwari also, for regional cooperation strengthening, and then how Malay Declaration, the revitalized Malay Declaration, can move forward in taking the aspirations of the countries in the region and developing capacity, capability, so that we have a clean environment and clean air for the all with a better health. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kemyotra, for his closing remarks. I'm afraid that there are so many questions already posted, and I hope that we can also address all these questions. But in the interest of time, I don't know how to go with that. There are just a few questions that if the ICIMOD team also there and they addressing in particular about the IGPHF as well. And if he can actually also, if not typing in, maybe just to say some answers regarding those as well, because we know that IGPHF and all the activities that has been done for the region has been so critical for the advancement of the equality of the region. And Mr. Kemyotra is the very, has been working all throughout many years, along with the core team of this Malay Declaration in South Asia. Mr. Tiwari, Mr. Ashish Tiwari, yes, if you may have some little things to answer with us.
Yeah, I can answer this question. That is the evidence-based monitoring and mitigation in IGPHF airshed for like 35 by 35 vision for the region. The question by Ram Dudani. So it has been covered in my presentation. Basically, we have to build our national level emission inventory, and we have to really move towards next generation air quality monitoring, which is super sites and a decision support system. So with these, I think we can really, and of course, for actions, we need finances. So with these things, which I have already covered in my presentation, we can achieve the shared vision of 35 microgram per meter cube by 2035. So this was the response to Mr. Ram Dudani's question. And there is one more question which is related to us is, are these successful examples of data-driven air quality interventions from region? So one is like I mentioned that heavy duty trucks, there was no government focus. But when the evidence came that the largest contributor within transport sector is basically heavy duty trucks and buses, the government have started framing policies and started implementing that also. So that is also one of the examples. Second example is fertilizer based emissions. The PM Pranam scheme of Government of India is actually focused to address that. So these are few examples which we can take it as evidence driven policies. So these were the two questions related to IGPHF, which I tried to answer right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tiwari. There are also some other questions about the monitoring part, and I think mostly it's about the regulations and how we can have all these, for the future.
So
Mm.
I think you can send us an email. We will respond to it. Then you can
Yes,
share with the.
yes, yes. Also, but there are also specific question for Professor Karabi and Professor Koka in Bangladesh and Pakistan. So I think in interest of time, we will certainly close this webinar. Thank you so much for everyone who has already following up with our webinar series, and we will have actually for the next month announcement for next webinar as well. And I want to particularly thank all the speakers who have prepared and also joining us, in particular Professor Biswa, also now very early morning out there in USA, and particularly all these very good participation from the students as well. They are very active. And the webinar will be shown, in the recording form for reviewing. Or the registered participant will receive also the presentations after I have a confirmation from all of you. So thank you so much. And I hope to see you again next time. If you can have your camera on also, I want to say thank you. And that is for the closing now. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you
you.
next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, there is
All
the
the best.
post-webinar evaluation form. Okay, I think we can share that later on also, if people has already left in this webinar. Okay. Uh-huh. So please take your time to do this post-webinar evaluation with the QR code on the screen. Professor Karabi?
Yes.
Okay. Your
Okay.
presentation include all many of your team of students work. Will we be able to share, or you want to take your time to revise that firstly?
Sorry.